So I've been seeing a lot of comments recently. Josh, can you do another Hansi Flick tactic? Partner with a Barcelona rebuild? I'm a man of the people, so of course I will. We are going to remake the Hansi Flick tactic today, and we have improved my last one. This tactic scored 240 goals in one season, averaged around about a 95% win rate, and it's a ton of fun to use. It's very attacking, very fast-paced, and you're going to love it. Be sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, check out the live streams below in the description, as you can see me make these tactics, and you can come and ask any questions. Let's go over and get through the tactic test and starting with his previous team, FC Bayern. I'm going to start off with Bayern Munich, his previous team, and we put on such a good display, and I'm glad you can see this part of the screen, because when I say this team attacks, and it attacks for fun, we've got 3 players in the top goal scorers, obviously 3 players in the most assists, the average rating, and clean sheets. And I know we are Bayern, but that is utter German dominance. We only lose one game. That is going to be against RB Leipzig, my team. We absolutely love that, but we don't love losing, so I'll put that to one side. But do you know what? A very, very strong season. The only thing we didn't win is the most player in the matches. Jeremy Frimpong does win that. But other than that, we absolutely take over. I mean, stat-wise, we're going to be nearly scoring 100 more goals than RB Leipzig in second place. Most points per game, most shots, fewest shots against, most dribbles, fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. Did we really put a foot wrong? Not really. Possession-wise, we actually had quite a fair bit as well, with 57% of the ball. Would I sacrifice 2%? Yes, because we're scoring 100 more goals. As I cannot stress further, this tactic is so attacking, it is so much fun. The Data Hub is going to back this up as well, as we are going to be scoring 4.76 goals a game, only 0.35 conceded, over 25.4 shots a game, and 88.9% pass completion, and a 78% tackle win ratio. This tactic could be one for the history books. We're also going to lift that Pokal final against RB Leipzig, who had a very, very good season, to be fair to them. We got off to a very good start with Leroy Sané inside of 12 minutes. They do equalise RB Leipzig before half-time in the 40th minute. A good header back stick, but unfortunately for them, we come out and we get the win as expected. Thomas Müller into Gnabry. And as you can see, we didn't really stop there, as we are going to carry on. We are going to win the Champions League against Barcelona. As you can see, we were playing as Barcelona as well. We'll go over that results very shortly. We are going to win that, the Pokal and the Super Cup against RB Leipzig in 5-1 fashion. A quadruple winning season, the perfect season. What a way to start. Then to Barcelona, where again we're going to have an attacker masterclass, a phenomenal masterclass, outclassing Madrid, Atletico, Bilbao, Sevilla, Girona, whoever it is, we dominated them all. Top goal scorers all over the gaff, same with assists and average rating, clean sheets and player of the matches. We really did take over. I know it's a powerhouse, I know it's a 4-2-3-1, but this dominance I am not sure we have seen before. 170 goals, fewer shots against, the most shots for, the most points per game, the most dribbles being made, the fewest conceded, and the most clean sheets. If the Barcelona manager does a quarter of what this does, I think you're going to be in for a very big treat. So hopefully he does for your Barcelona fans. I personally think he's going to do okay. I don't think he's going to come in and obviously do this, because this is a video game, that is real life. But I think he's going to come in and do quite a good job. And speaking of a good job, Data Hub wise, we also done a good job. 4.47 goals per game, 0.26 conceded, 24.8 shots a game, and 88% pass completion, and a very tasty tackle win ratio. Matched up against a 3 at the back Atletico Madrid team in the Spanish Cup final, where we got off to a 1-0 start, shortly made it 2-0 inside of 34 minutes, and 3-0 right now, goal after goal, couple of set pieces back to back. A throw in into Roberto, into Rafinha, into Gundogan. He steps and he gets a little bit lucky. We'll take it. As you can see, we also are going to go ahead and win the Spanish Super Cup against Real Madrid 5-0. 5-0. The only thing we lost is going to be the Champions League, which we played ourselves in, so we can't really count it, although getting to the final is the best we could have done. Not both saves could have won, so we are going to take it. In fact, you know what? I'm going to call it a quadruple. I don't care. I'm claiming the quadruple. When you think of Barcelona and Bayern, what's the next best team? Ipswich Town, and we come out and enjoy a great season, just showcasing this can work in lower leagues. Obviously, it is a tactic designed for the more sort of bigger teams in the game. Obviously, Hansi Flick, Bayern, Barcelona, the big boys in the sort of club world football, if you wish to say. But we can do it with Ipswich, and as you can see, we nearly maintain the same sort of statistics. 3 players in the average rating, 2 in the most assists. Leif Davis, 30 assists. Kiefer Moore with 38 goals in the division. A really strong sort of just time. The only downside is the FA Cup and the Carabao Cup. But there again, are we really expecting to win anything with them? Probably not. But the fact we've got automatic promotion, only lost 4 games out of 46, drew 2, won 40, you can't really complain. The data hub as well is going to paint quite the good picture. You can still see here, scoring over 3 goals a game, even with a team with definitely, no offence to Ipswich fans, but a lot less quality players than a Barca or Bayern. Very good defensively, still having a high amount of shots, and still a very good pass completion. Just to go to show, you can still do it, even with the mighty Tractor Boys. Of course, obviously your favourite part of the video, the tactic breakdown. If you are enjoying yourselves, be sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel, and comment below 2 rebuilds and 2 tactics you want to see, and I'll add it to my mighty list. And if you want to get over 13 perks to this channel, including access to all 3 of these tactics, you want the tactics early, you want the rebuild files, you want those early as well, you want priority in the tactic and the rebuild requests, you want one-on-one tactical help, and a chance to win £100 for 3 winners, so a total of £300, you can come over and join the Patreon, where you can join nearly 4,500 people who absolutely love it. We've got a massive group chat, a big community. You can come over and get involved. Don't miss out. But let's go on and crack on with this tactic. So we are going to base this off a gegenpress, and it is going to be built off the famous 4-2-3-1. We already know the tactic's going to cook. So getting into the player roles, then we are going to start off with a sweeper keeper who is actually going to be set to support and is going to have no custom instructions. So it is going to be, to clarify, a default sweeper keeper. Going over to the wing back on the right, we are going to have him on support, and we are going to have some instructions. They are going to include run wide with the ball. We are also going to have stay wider, tackle harder, and mark tighter. So that is going to be, to clarify, wing back on support, run wide, stay wider, tackle harder, and mark tighter. We then are going to opt for 2 ball playing defenders who are both simply going to be set to the default. And like the wing back on the right, we are also going to have the wing back on the left on support, who is going to be on the same instructions. So run wide, stay wider, tackle harder, and of course mark tighter. What I really like about these wing backs is they are going to be very attacking, but also, as we saw in the highlights, they don't usually get caught out of position, so you're not going to be too committed when it comes to attacking, using your defenders, which obviously is a good thing, because as we go up the field, as you're going to see shortly, it becomes quite attacking. Over to the midfield, we are going to use the deeper 4-2-3-1, and on the right, we are going to go with a DM who is going to be set to support, and he is going to have 4 instructions. So we are going to have, instantly, we're going to have mark tighter and, of course, tackle harder. We are going to have shoot less often, and we are also going to have take fewer risks. So what happens here is, with this player, he's going to be very risk-free, not really going to be putting a foot wrong, very defensive, very sensible on the ball, and when he gets the ball, you're not going to be seeing any long passes coming out with him, because he's going to be very risk-free with the passing. But what this does mean is we're not going to lose the ball uselessly. We're going to hold on to possession and make sure we progress the ball up sensibly, quick but efficiently. And next to him, we are going to have a deep lying playmaker who simply is going to have 1 instruction, which is going to be set to mark tighter. That is all you need for this midfield pairing. Now for the wingers, we are going to be using 2 inverted wingers, and on the left, he's going to be set to attack on this occasion, and he's going to be told to sit narrower, mark tighter, and tackle harder. And on the right hand side, we are going to go and match exactly the same. So again, sit narrower, mark tighter, and tackle harder. Very important they are playing narrow, because these wing backs are going to obviously overlap and create some very good overruns. Now what I like here is the fact is, because we're allowing these players to sort of sit narrower, when they come inside, the wing-back sort of almost replace them. So you're not really going to have a sort of a collision, if you so will, on either side. Sometimes that works. For example, Ange loves to do that. With his Hansi Flick team, it works a lot better with these inside players sort of coming inside, always position themselves a little bit narrower, because then if we do have a fast break, the wing-back can simply overlap him and get in a real good crossing opportunity. Going over to the advanced playmaker in midfield, we are going to have some instructions: get further forwards, move into the channels, roam from position, and cross less often. The thought behind this is I want him to be attacking. I don't really want him crossing the ball, but I want him moving about, getting into channels, being quite confident on the ball. Naturally, he's going to be dribbling more and taking more risks, but I just don't really want him crossing the ball too often. And lastly, we are going to go with the advanced forward. You could argue maybe a deep lying forward, but I have gone slightly towards the results business with this tactic. We are going to go with shoot more often and roam from position to finish off the player roles. Now to the team instructions. We are going to leave this on fairly wide. We're going to pass the ball into the space. As I discussed, we are going to have overlapping options on the left and the right, while playing out from the back, obviously focusing down the right and the left. The reason why a lot of these players got involved so well in this tactic is because of these instructions, so make sure you are replicating them, because then you can share that same success. We're going to go with shorter and a higher tempo, really aggressive play with run at defence, and we are going to actually stick with the mixed crosses. Now in transition, it is going to be quite meta based. We are going to take short goal kicks to the centre backs, distribute quickly, counter attack and counter press. So the stuff you'd expect to see in a meta tactic, but it is is also the way that Hansi Flick does play, so quite good for FM players as well. Now, out of possession, there is going to be a bit to talk about. We are going to have the high press and line of engagement. The line is going to be set to higher. We're going to trap outside when it comes to setting a press and trap. We're going to step up more. We're going to prevent short goal distribution, because we have got a lot of attacking players who are going to be up there and able to do it. And as you saw in the highlights, we got a couple of goals from doing it, and we are actually going to max out that trigger press. It's very intense, but follow the 3 rules of rotation, rest, and obviously training, and you'll be completely fine. Now, to the attacking tactic, and again, you can get all 3 of these tactics in one simple fast download over in the Patreon below. We are going to have the same sweeper keeper. The wing back on the right and the left are going to be a little bit buffed up. They are going to be on take more risks, cross more often, dribble more, run wide, stay wider, tackle harder, and of course mark tighter, and default get further forward. So the great thing about this is we've simply taken what we had and just give them a little bit more attack and freedom, and trust me, you are going to see the difference. So make sure you make them changes as well. We then have 2 ball playing defenders who are both going to be set to the default with no custom instructions set to them, because they were doing their job really well anyway. We then push the midfield players up and obviously get rid of one of the player roles being the DM, and we are going to bring in a box to box on support, on dribble more, shoot more often, and get further forwards. And next to him is going to be the deep line playmaker, who is going to be set to support, on mark tighter, and obviously the other instructions, which is going to be shoot less often, take more risks, and hold position. Both of the inverted wingers are going to be exactly the same as discussed. We don't really need anything else from them, so they are going to remain the same, as does the advanced playmaker and the advanced forwards. But over to the team instructions, again, based off the gegenpress on the positive mentality, we are going to have this set to the middle. We are going to pass into space, overlap left, overlap right, focus down the left and the right, and playing out from the back the same way as discussed. We're going to keep the mixed crosses. We're going to keep the shorter with the higher tempo. The coupler, or the one real big change, is going to be more expressive and run at defense as a combo, really allowing your players to take the game to them. In transition, we are going to go with counter press, counter, distribute quickly, and take short goal kicks. Optional, you can leave it blank so you have a bit more freedom where your goalkeeper plays it to, but for me, I actually selected the entire back line, but that last bit is up to you. Now, out of possession, we are going to instantly go with the higher defensive line, the high press and line of engagement. We are going to have trap outside, step up more, get stuck in, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and lastly, we are going to go with much more often on that wonderful trigger press. To defend those games out, we are going to revert back to the deep 4-2-3-1, and again, this can be used with smaller teams as well, not just as a sort of part the bus sort of system. We are going to go with default sweeper keeper. The wing back on the right and the left are going to be on take fewer risks, dribble less, and mark tighter. 2 ball playing defenders again are simply going to be remained on the default, so 2 defaults and the wing back on those instructions right there. We then go with 2 DMs who are both going to be exactly the same, both on support, on tackle harder and mark tighter. Very calm, very balanced, very defensive. We like to be seeing it. An inverted winger on the left and on the right are both going to be the same, so I'll say it once, both on support, on pass it shorter, take fewer risks, sit narrower, tackle harder, and mark tighter. And in the midfield, we've got the advanced playmaker on support. Still very progressive player, but a little bit less aggressive than the past 2 sort of variants. Cross less often, roam, and move into the channels. And lastly, the advanced forward remains unchanged. Again, based off the gegenpress, but this time down to balance when it comes to the mentality. We're going to leave this to standard. We're going to have playing out from the back. This time we are going to go with much shorter and dribble less with the mixed crosses and a slightly lower tempo. So we are now taking a tactic that is really a high tempo tactic and reverting it to more of a tiki-taka, control and possession sort of vibe, but still has that gegenpress DNA where you are going to win the ball back with a lot of intensity. When you've got it, a little bit more calmer on the ball. Now, in transition, that's where this changes again. We are going to counter press. That is the Hansi Flick way. We're going to play to the centre-back while taking short goal kicks. But on this occasion, we're going to hold the shape. So again, very aggressive when we've not got the ball. Win it back, win it back, win it back. When we've got the ball, nice and calm. Pass it side to side. Get your way into the game. Really good to start a game with as well, I will say. So I would recommend getting all 3, because against some of the bigger teams, I would actually recommend going in with this tactic, then changing to the other 2 when you sort of need to. And lastly, we are going to go with the standard defensive line, the high press and line of engagement, step up more, prevent short goalkeeper distribution, and we are going to keep the trigger press all the way to maxed out. And that is going to give you Hansi Flick's Barcelona 4-2-3-1, 3 variants, all for your enjoyment. Let me know what you thought of it. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe. That is completely free. Definitely consider turning on notifications as well, because we post daily. When you see the Flick tactic, you're going to see a Barcelona tactic. So, you know, not a tactic, of rebuild, sorry, I nearly forgot what I was talking about then. So every time you see a tactic, a rebuild comes the next day. Be sure to check out the rebuilds, because a lot of people are enjoying them. Hopefully you do. If you do, be sure to leave a like on those as well. And I'll be seeing you in the next one.